Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. I'm Omar Sosa, and I'm very happy to introduce Ronan and Anne. They're going to be speaking here tonight. I've been very fortunate to have the pleasure to work with Ronan over the years, wearing different hats. First as an art director for the lighting company Flos, and then developing products for VD Barcelona while I was at the company. And lastly, when he invited me to his place in Brittany to interview him for Apartamento, a magazine that I founded 20 years ago. Since then, every time I receive a message from Ronan, somehow it always makes me happy. Before I even know what he's going to say, when I see his name, I don't know, puts me a smile, because I love his honesty and his how genuine he is, and I think all of this really translates into this product and everything he makes. So for those of you that don't know who Ronan is, I will just tell you that he's one of the most relevant product designers of the moment. And for those that you know him well, I'm not going to say much more because I don't want to spoil what Anne is going to be asking him today. Just say that he's really, in my opinion, he really embodies what a true industrial designer means, since he really works very passionate with both industry and the craft of design. And he's also a passionate artist and a drawer. And he says that he uses two parts of the brain that are different. He will probably explain that today. And I think they merge very beautifully in everything that he makes. So without more waiting, please join me on a very warm welcome to Ronan and Anne tonight.
Hello, everybody. Of course, if you didn't catch that before we begin, that is Omar Sosa, creative director, co-founder of Apartamento, former faculty of Elisava, and pride of Barcelona. Thank you. Maybe a round of applause for him. Merci. Thank you all for being here and leaving no chair, maybe one, leaving no chair in this great auditorium. My name is Anne Quito. I'm a journalist, design critic, and a teacher here in Barcelona. Bonsoir, Ronan. Welcome.
Bonsoir.
Welcome.
Merci, Omar. It was a bit like a wedding disco, or yeah.
Before we begin, a little behind-the-scenes story on how this day came about. So in preparing for this talk, Ronan and I had a very brief call last week. This is a very standard practice for panels, for us journalists. It's usually to map out topics that can be discussed and some unmentionables, no? Lest I put you in a bad mood, to be avoided at all costs. I've been a reporter for about 10 years, and often subjects, especially with the stature of our guest tonight, tend to be, how do we say, control freaks. However, when I asked Ronan, so what would you like to talk about? He said, anything. In fact, I do not want to hear any of the questions in advance. Essentially opening the door for an unscripted and hopefully candid evening tonight. I think it's a gift for us. Thank you. So, dear friends and students, I hope you take Ronan's generous invitation to lead us to surprising and interesting tangents as you think of questions to ask him later. We will save time for that. And because tonight is a kind of tribute to quiet genius, I invite the shyest of you to write down your questions on a piece of paper and pass it to me. You don't even have to speak. All right. Since we have free reign, where shall we begin? I thought it would be interesting to begin in maybe the period in your life where you're around the same age as the average master's student. So I'm going to pick a number, let's say 26. Can you take us back to 1997, a time of, I don't know, Tony Braxton, Jewel, the debut of Harry Potter. What were you doing in 1997? You were 26 years old.
Well, I think I was a bad student at this time. I had a lot of difficulty to get my diploma. Maybe I start a bit before. I was lucky to grow in the countryside, very far from a lot of things, very far for everything in a way.
Yes.
It was before internet. It was before all that. The only way I was interested by object, and I do not exactly remember when, but I hear about the world of design, and I remember in a big library of the city near the countryside, there was just one book, but without pictures. So design for me was a sort of marvelous word, but I have no idea exactly what it means. And by chance, I was so bad at school that when I was 15, my parents accepted that I enter in a sort of school for bad guys that are so that will never be a lawyer, or so they say, why not art? They didn't know about art, about architecture, and I like that. Then I started for me it was like entering in a train, and this train continued to continue today. So yes, that was that. So I had 3 passionate years between 15 and 18 when I discovered photography, video, movie. I start to draw a lot, and I become to be a good student.
And this was in Brittany?
This was in Brittany. Then I arrived in Paris. I was full of hope and full of pleasure of the city. I was leaving my parents, leaving my brother, leaving everybody. And but it was a disaster. I was in a so bad school, design school. So I become again to be one of the bad students in this class. But I learned so much because I didn't understand why I didn't like what I had to learn. But so I started to do my own project, and I had the chance to do. At this time, there was craftsman everywhere, so you could just draw on the paper some dimension and some shape, and there was always a carpenter or someone else that could reproduce something. So I was lucky to do my first exhibition at 18, and then I went to school because my parents wanted to be sure that I study something, but I never went so often. So it's important to be in a good school, and I know that Elisava is a good school, but it's very important to be curious and to learn by yourself. I think it's very important.
May I ask, what made you frustrated with how industrial design was being taught in Paris?
Well, at this time, it was, I don't know, I know how difficult it is to teach and how difficult it is to teach design. You need to teach methods, you need to teach how to draw, you need to teach, but methods for me is the worst thing, because I think the objective of a school is to teach how much your mind could be open. You need to teach the fact that you have to be curious and not to reproduce a system, or not to reproduce something that is pre-organized for you. So, and in this school, it was really a question of rules, and and I don't like rules at all.
Before we continue, I think someone's phone might be on. Maybe they're listening to the Paris Saint-Germain game. something? I wonder if we can please address that. We can hear you from here. Thank you, merci. We continue. So you're saying the main job of a school is basically to foster curiosity. Is that right?
No, I think it's to teach method, some way of doing things. But it's very important for a teacher that the teacher reveal each singularity of each student. So this is the complexity, how to generate. My English is so poor, so I'm sorry for you, but in French it's very clear in my mind, but I would like to translate it correctly. No, you know, I was a bad student, and obviously I'm not so bad designer. So it means that probably there was a problem in the different school I visited. No, the subject is to being a creative, being a designer is a question of empathy. So it means being in front of a craftsman using clay, and the day after being in front of a company doing chairs in tube, and the day after maybe you have to. So you need to be. Being a designer is like to be an actor. So you have to play in different type of movie. Someday you play for a very small movie, a small company, but it's full of passion, and I'm so happy of that. And the day and some week after, you are working for a big company like I don't know, Cappellini, BD, Vitra, where the subject is not the same, but you need to be yourself in all these different situations. But in the same time, you have to serve a company, and I quite like the fact that being a designer is a service discipline, so it means that you have to serve a specific situation. So it means a craftsman that need to. Can you hear me well, or it's okay? It's okay. Okay. It's on. Okay. Yeah. No, because I hear myself, and I'm so tired of myself that.
I hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
The world hears you.
Okay.
So, if my research is right, the first project you designed or you worked on, or at least published on your website, was a kitchen in 1994. Is that correct?
It's
And
almost correct, because I hesitated to show, because as I said, I started to do object when I was 18, so I'm born in 71. Can you do the calculation?
Calculation.
Yeah. So I hesitate to show the first terrible project that I did. But
before we continue, maybe we should explain what we're seeing here in the back. It's just a shower, a cascade of images from your book.
It's always too difficult to explain when I met friend of friends that want to understand what I do. Yes. I never find the words, but because so I don't like to explain it, and I prefer to do books to try to explain the diversity, because I'm in love with craft, but in the same time I'm in love with a machine that can push on a button and there is a chair getting out of it. I like drawing. I like losing myself in searching things that I will never find. So I think it's difficult to express how diverse this discipline could be done. So I had a lot of problem to explain it. And this book, I do a lot of picture. I'm sorry for you, but I'm not a very talkative people. I express more through object, or through drawing, or through photography. And when the iPhone arrived, I was so happy, because I'm too lazy to be a good photographer. It means with a proper material. So when the iPhone arrived, for me it was so marvelous to have in my pocket.
This is And this is from your book, Day After Day,
Yes.
2003 in
Exactly.
from Phaedon.
But this book is just the reproduction of my Instagram account that I use like a diary, and so that's it.
If you permit me to go back to my first question, the crux of it, if my research is correct, 1997 was the year that you were kind of discovered by Cappellini. Is that right? I mean, it might be useful to students here who are, preparing to launch a career to know how one gets going.
Well, so we speak about almost 35 years ago, so
Yes.
the rule has changed because at this time there was no Instagram, there was no way to show something to a larger audience. The only way was to do things, to do exhibition, and then maybe to have a small journal article in a magazine, and when you had a picture of 2 centimeters on 2 centimeters in a magazine that was distributed by 5,000 copies, it was a miracle. So it was so long to get a bit of interest from others. So the way to show, the way to present the work was through exhibition at this time. And luckily, at this time, one of the most important company was in Italy. It was Cappellini, led by someone who was Giulio Cappellini, and it was someone full of passion, full of interest in design, and one of the first Italian companies that decided to pick European designers. So they discover in a certain way Mark Newson, Jasper Morrison, and I was very young at this time, but he went on an exhibition and offered me to come in Milan. He offered me a plane ticket, but I'm claustrophobic, so I never took plane at this time. I was 27, yes. So it was a big problem because I understood that if I wanted to have a career, maybe taking a plane could be very important.
Yes.
And then I
useful.
decided to use a plane. So I still use a lot of pills to. It's why I'm a bit like that today, because I just arrived, so the pills effect it's still in my body, but so.
Is it true that when Mr. Cappellini was actually looking for you, you kind of vanished? Is that right? I read an anecdote that you were very shy at this moment.
I'm still very shy.
You're still very shy.
I'm still very
Again, tonight is a tribute to shyness and how shyness triumphs, actually, above all. Okay, maybe a second to tackle shyness. How do you manage this? Because you are, you have to sort of find ways, I suppose, to say yes, like talk to people, be in this grand auditorium.
Yeah, but it's very dark, so I do not feel it so much.
How do you manage shyness, and is it something to overcome to be successful?
Well, I don't know. I want to do projects, so for that I need to. I need to be confronted to different situations. It's true that I like to be in my studio or in my apartment or in my house to sing. It's my favorite time. I'm very happy to be in Barcelona, to be honest. But what is sure is that when I present a project, I'm not at all the good guy to explain it in
Philippe Stark is not your template, you're saying?
No, what I wanted to say is that when I have to present a project, it has to be well thought and presented correctly, or because I'm not the man that will say, I did a fabulous things, I have to present you. I'm not able to do that. And so it's interesting because recently I was in Japan with some students from ECAL, and we worked together with 10 very, very good students and with a team of Issey Miyake. And as you know, in Japan, they do not speak English. The communication is very complex. So I asked them to present their project without words. So they had to do very good mock-up. They had to do great research, but they had not the possibility to explain it. So it was a very good exercise, and in Miyake, they were so amazed by the beauty of the mock-up, because when you cannot explain an idea you have in mind, it has to be very clear and very well organized to express what you have in mind, and it was a good success. So.
I also read that your first instinct is always to say no. Is that right?
Yes, it's true. But I'm in the period where I'm in a very difficult period, because I say yes since 2 years. So we are in the studio, we have almost 30 projects in the same time, and it's too much. So I think I will come back to the no situation. Yeah.
For example, the Miyake example, I mean, they approached you years ago with an unusual project to design their store in Paris for Epoch, a piece of cloth. Mm-hmm. And I think I read that initially you said no. It's a casting error or something like this.
Yeah, it was 25 years ago. So at this time, the fashion shop was very interesting subject, because there was few shops. The fashion was not developed at all as the fashion that we know today. So, and I received a call from Issey Miyake, but at this time I thought I was an industrial designer. So his subject was to do a shop, so it was more interior designer, and I thought I had no crew or no quality for space. It's why I said no at the beginning, but 3 months after, they called back, and they say, we want you because we think maybe as a designer you can understand better the way we build clothes, and you are maybe good person to find a way to explain that. So.
Are you happy you said yes?
And then it was yes. Yeah.
And last year, 2004, you said no to them again.
It was the same subject. Since years and years, a lot of fashion company who asked me if they could use my drawing to put on a bag or on a shirt. And I was not sure it was a good idea, so I said no for several requests. But then Miyake called, and someone said to me that they would like to, if I would like to collaborate with them to do something. So I immediately answered no, because it was a fashion context. My drawing in a fashion context, I thought it will be a disaster, but I had the memory of the relationship with Miyake, and Miyake design team, it's more a design team than a fashion team, so they are really so careful about the way they build clothes, the way they develop things, that the first time it took 3 months before the no and the yes, but there it was maybe 30 minutes, because I thought I was maybe an idiot to refuse this proposal. And it was a marvelous experience with them. The Japanese, I love Japan so much. The Japanese are so passionate, so dedicated in detail. But it was very interesting because and so respectful. It's not at all the fashion ways that we know in Europe, when they just use you as very quickly, not very decently, and put you in the garbage the day after. Here it was a very. We did 80 different pieces, from shoes to bags, from banal T-shirt to more complex things. And I was very happy of this experience.
So yes, eventually yes.
It was a yes. Yeah.
For someone who says no a lot, you've worked with a lot of companies. Maybe I can help the audience by reading a list, a short list, an abecedarium, it looks like. Alessi, Artec, Axor, Cappellini, Established & Sons, Floss, Galerie Kreo, Glass Italia, Hey, Il Italia, Kartell, Ketal, Koyori, Kvadrat, Ligne Rosé, Magis, Mattiazzi, Mutina, Nani Marquina, Samsung, Swarovski, Vitra, etc., etc. I wonder if, what's the weirdest thing you've been asked to design?
I don't know. For me, there is no hierarchy except arms. Weapons.
Guns? Did you say
Well,
guns?
maybe it's interesting to think about it.
Someone asked you to design guns?
No.
No,
I say
not yet.
for me there is no hierarchy, and Sotsas said that it's as difficult to design ashtrays than an airport, and I agree with him that I think. For me, design is a subject of everything that didn't naturally exist to grow on this earth is a subject of design. It's of course there is different type of scale, but I like to design jewel. I like to be part of research on urbanism. I like textile so much and ceramic a lot, and wood, and some. So yeah, it's I'm like a cook.
Anything, a mélange.
It's not anything, but I think I like be confronted to materials that I don't like, for example, and to try to find a way to use it in a good way, and to have no. There is no hierarchy in type of project, no hierarchy in the type of company. When there is passion, because I can work for. Recently, I started to work for very small Finnish companies that are just run by 2 people. They are very slow. Yeah. It's so slow, and but I like it. They are so passionate. They do not speak so much. So they drink beer, and then after a beer, sometimes there is an answer. But but I like them so. And then, in the same time, working with Miyake, when you have 80 people around you, just waiting from a point of view or a drawing, and then immediately going to sew to make the clothes. It's fabulous, but it's just a matter of atmosphere and people that It's why when I have a request, when we have a request for a project, I never want to meet the people. I just want to try to understand before if the subject could be interesting for me. Because if I meet the people and if they are full of charm, I know that I will say yes, and this is a problem. So I prefer to keep.
That's fascinating. So project first before personality. Yes.
No, it's a mix, but I don't want to be too much touched by people. But one of the most interesting meeting I had was I like ceramic a lot, and there is a very good, at this time it was a small company just starting. It was a small tiles ceramic company. The name is Mutina. And I received a very long letter from the owner of Mutina, a sort of love letter to say, I was in MoMA, I saw your work, my wife liked your work so much, I would like to meet you. Well, I didn't know if I wanted to do tiles, I didn't know if I wanted to match him, but a second letter, very, very sympathetic. And then he arrived in the studio, but sweating a lot because he had a lot of ceramic tiles with him. So it's a very difficult work because you have to carry kilos and kilos. So he was sweating a lot, and he was so anxious that it was almost very difficult to speak. But it was marvelous because I feel that this guy wanted to really work with me. I think he was full of charm, and then I remember that he left, and in the courtyard it was just so desperate because he thought that the meeting was so badly, and then some weeks after I was in Italy, and I don't know how he knew that I was in Italy in another company. So he called me and proposed me to organize an helicopter to pick me at the company to go to his factory, and I don't like I don't like I don't like flight. I don't like. So you can imagine that me in a helicopter, never in my life, and I don't like luxurious situations. So it was totally wrong with him. So so I came by train, and then I visited the factory, and I liked the factory, and then we started to work together.
Okay, it's fascinating to consider the project first, then the people. I used to work for Milton Glaser, and he said before he accepts a project, you must meet face to face because he wants to smell you.
Oh, yeah.
Not deliberately. It's like, it smells good, then he does it. One of his last projects was packaging for pudding for a very simple, like a company, like a catering company owned by husband and wife. But he says, I like the way they smell, and he did it.
I agree with that.
You agree? So project and smell, like.
Yes.
So you have an instinct. Okay. It's fascinating to talk about kind of project and people, but maybe there's a connection to designer and output. As a journalist, I am often confronted with a cult of celebrity when it comes to design world, as you know. Maybe the big manufacturers invest in time in lifting and making designers brand names. Would you agree?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll say. Like when you go to a furniture fair, or when you go to an exhibition, when I go to a press release. Okay, or maybe even in architecture, right? Like there's something called starchitects. And sometimes you don't always love what they make. And it makes me consider the relationship between producer and product. Do you often think, what is your relationship to celebrity or your reputation or your name when you design any object? When you're asked to do something?
Well, there could be my name on some object. Probably it helped for the first months to be distributed in different shops. But if the project is not good, it will be a bad seller, because my life is a mix of some success, but a lot of bad sellers.
Yeah?
It's terrible, but it's a life. It's like that. By chance, I think the balance is positive, but I tried to do a website like an archive when all the objects I designed since 30 years are organized. If I look at them, a few parts of them were.
Is that right?
Were good seller or were successful. Or, so you have to be very humble with that, because and then celebrity, I don't care, except the fact that you have most chance to continue to do what you want when you have a bit of celebrity. It helps to continue your own work. Yes, of course.
A lot of all the things you've designed, I think a lot of them are chairs. Is that right? You've designed a lot of chairs. How much of your life do you think you've devoted to chairs? How much percentage of your life have you devoted to chairs?
Presenting like that, it seems to be terrible. You see, the life is so amazing and beautiful. No, I like chairs because I like to sit, because I like that. And but I did a lot of things. But it's true that chair is so complex that I like to be confronted to this subject, and it's.
I mean,
is it a good answer?
We have a master designer of chairs here, and I thought, since we're in a school, we're in a class, these are your
Well,
students.
it's very interesting because last week, it was Saturday,
Yes.
I was on the phone with Rolf Elboom, which is one of the best.
Vitra.
The master, there is a book about him, which is the title is Chairman. So I think it's one of the persons that studies the chair in the most largest way. I spent 30 years of my life to speak with him during 25 years, almost every day, about everything, about chairs. And last day he said to me, I like your work so much, Ronan. You are so good, but I think you didn't design a good chair for the moment. So,
Wow.
so
Wow.
we have to be
Well.
no, good. He was considering the setup.
Well, I wanted to ask if we can give a little lesson in chairness and sort of like what makes a good chair. I think of the Mies van der Rohe. I mean, a chair is a complex object. I'll tell you, whenever I pitch to my editors, there's a chair launch. They just roll their eyes. I'm like, another chair. Who wants another one? And I also think about the Mies van der Rohe quote, right? He said, a chair is a very difficult object. A skyscraper is easier. I think it's easy to think chairs are forms or designs, but Ronan, what makes a good chair?
I would like to have the formula, but I don't have it. Obviously, because Rolf Elboom said it, so I didn't.
Why is it so difficult? And why should we
Why is it so
celebrate the
difficult?
birth of every chair?
I don't know. I think a good chair is like a song. If you consider Im's chair, for example, for me, it's like a Beatles song. So it means that it exists everywhere. You can. I don't know. It's like asking what is a good person. There is so many ways to. I will maybe, for me, one of the most beautiful chairs, a Tonnette chair, so designed in end of 19th century. It was this marvelous
curved plywood chair,
curved wood. It was interesting because at this time the cost of a chair was 2 beers. So because the material would cost nothing, anyway, it was 2 beers. For 2 beers, you had a chair, so it was a ratio. And then this chair was conceived as a dismountable chair, so in a 1 square cube, you can put, I do not remember how many, but a lot. So it was perfect for deliver all over the world. And it's interesting because it's so well thought, but it's not a machine. It's just it's like a beautiful bird. It's like it's just a beauty, and so I don't know. So this chair for me is one of the most important and still the best, one of the best. But then I don't know. Yes, bon. I luckily designed a chair and a group of sitting things for hay. The name is Palissade, so it's an enormous success. I don't know. I think they produce 100,000 pieces per year. So in all the museum, in the terrace, you will see this chair almost in all the garden near my house, because they like me, they've got this chair. You can find it in Tokyo or and this chair is a success. It's interesting because it's not really comfortable. It's very heavy. It's interesting because this group of chairs has been refused by a lot of companies before, 2 companies before. So I designed it for Italian companies. They say, we don't know. Then I proposed it to Rolf A., which is a Danish manufacturer. Yeah. And then he was very insecure because he said, no, it's an outdoor chair. We do not sell outdoor furniture. It will be probably too heavy. It will be... And then we did some first prototype. He decided to quit the project, and then some months after we restarted. And surprisingly, it becomes one of the most successful object and collection of his company. It's interesting because at this time, outdoor chair was very light. You have to stack them, you have to fold them to put them in the garage during the winter, maybe not in Barcelona, but in the rest of Europe. And this chair was not stackable. It was heavy. It was exactly the opposite of what was existing. I'm sure that if I had presented this project as my diploma for design, I would never have my diploma. But this chair is very strong. You trust it. You do not care to put it in your garage during the winter because it will stay well. You can repaint it in 20 years, and you trust it. There is the prototype of those chairs still on my terrace in Bretanya, so it's full of salt in a very windy situation, and they are still there, a bit rusty, of course, because of the salt, but after 15 years, it's...
Would you agree that, well, there's so many kinds of chairs because there's so many kinds of situations. So when you get like a commission to design a chair, you're confronted with a problem, is that right? Or a specific...
As I said before, for me, design is a question of being confronted. It's like being an actor, so there is chair in different movies, and as there is actor playing different type of... So there is stacking chairs that need to be stacked by 10, by 20. There is chairs that has to cost 100 euros. There is chairs that cost more. Chairs done in Japan. This morning I received a chair that I designed for a Japanese company. It was so beautiful, but obviously so expensive to realize, and we are all trapped because it's nice, but it will be too expensive. So we need to let this beautiful object and to restart, because probably we won't get... So there is so many factors, from the price to the weight, from the use of materials, the good use of materials, for the context of the company, because I design chair for companies that are well organized and have a marvelous machine or robots, but I design chair for people that just cut piece of wood and just almost glue them together. So there is so many subjects. So for me, a good chair is a chair that answer well the subject of sitting, of course. So it means correct comfort. But then there is so many aspects that for me makes that a chair could be considered as a good chair, because there is some... It's interesting because one of the first stacking chair came from America. It was designed by, I do not remember, it was Roland. It was a chair... The structure was in a rod, in a very 8, maybe 9 millimeter rod. And when you stack them together, you can stack a huge quantity of chair because it's so thin. So I think it came to Herman Miller first. Anyway, he came to different company, and nobody more interesting. The subject of stacking chair was not interesting for companies. They didn't care about that. And then a lot of people after company understood the interest of doing. So it's...
As a designer, you obsess about everything that you said, including materials, price, ergonomics, audience, is that right? Like shipping, packaging, the whole gamut involved more than drawing a beautiful form, yes? Yes?
It's all of that.
It's all of that. Yeah. I don't think we often think about that when we, I don't know, go shopping and we're like, why is this 2,000 euros? Why, when I can just, maybe get a similar looking one? I wonder, as designers of chairs, do you get to name them?
Yes, and it's the most
Yes?
terrible thing I have to do.
Yes?
It's always push at the end of the...
What's the best name you've given a
I-
chair, you think? What's your favorite?
I'm never very proud of myself, so favorite I don't know, but and I try to forget
Just the
name.
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 Even if it's a okay chair, what's the name? A brilliant name for a...
Brilliant. I never access to this level, so I don't know.
Would you say there's something common among all all the things you design? You have this wonderful metaphor about a tea bag,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Is that
But
something you aspire for? So-
No, it was most that I consider that one of the important aspects of an object is that if you rent an apartment and you put a chair and a table, the atmosphere of this room will change. So, for me, an object in a room is like a tea bag in a glass of hot water. It changes the atmosphere. It modifies the perception of the place. So it was a way to express what design is. Is that
I brought an object, a surprise object. Not really. Something you designed. Something I brought back when I moved from New York to Barcelona in a small valise. Somehow, this came with me.
okay?
What is this? And explain the tea bag effect of such objet. Loiseau.
Oh, as I explained before, I'm interested and passionate with a lot of things, and I'm very passionate by the very popular art. So it means in Mexico, small pottery of
Yeah.
people in, I don't know, in Finland. They have a love about birds, and so they blow birds. They do birds in wood. In each region, I'm sure that Spain is full of that. There is this very direct, interesting craft done by people that are not specialists, that just do birds, do different things, and I'm very touched of that. So this bird was, and Rolf Elboom, who was speaking about, is a big collector of this popular folk art, and we share the same. He's more cultured than me on this subject,
Like
of
Alexander
course,
Girard,
like
in a way.
Alexander Girard and all that. So I decided to draw. I think the profile of the bird is better, but
Okay, profile.
yeah, I don't know. So it's a wooden bird. It has a symbolic function. You cannot sit on it. You cannot eat with it. You
Yeah.
cannot. You can maybe use it at the door. Doorstop.
Yes.
Voilà. But sometimes it's like poetry. Sometimes, or you don't want to explain so much why you did something.
Look, the table already looks amazing. It's like a tea bag occurring in that table.
The room is very big, so before the tea will
That's true. This bird has just transformed this room. Thank you.
Merci.
We are coming. I'm looking at the time. I want to save time for your questions. A few more. Maybe we zoom to 2025, the present.
Okay.
I think if I'm reading this right, this is sort of a curious moment in your career so far. You, or maybe you reestablished solo practice. You have a new book. You have, you just had an exhibition in Centre Pompidou. I wonder how you might, you've launched 15 projects this year alone. I was looking at your website. I wonder what words you might describe this period in your career.
Can you have a longer question so I can
Okay.
finish my thing?
A longer question, okay. Or maybe we just wait.
Okay, no, sorry.
No.
But,
What is this period in your life like?
I'm in a
how
very
is it
good
like?
period of my life. More complex.
No, like it's. I noticed that like you published a catalogue raisonné so early, 2023, or maybe Galerie Kreo, and it's a catalogue raisonné is a summary, a complete, normally a complete summary.
It was a very idiotic title because
A very
catalogue raisonné is something you do before dying, and
Yes,
I
I'm
still,
like they're not
I'm still
dying.
alive.
2003.
So I remember very well because it was the idea of Laurent Lebon, which is the director of Centre Pompidou today, and I was very proud of this book at this time because it was it was well done. I think it was a very good graphic designer. There was a picture was good, but the title was imposed by this guy.
A complete work. 20.
And I remember that at this time there was Karl Lagerfeld collect a lot of work and of my work and my brother's work, and when he decided to do a picture of us, and I came with a book to offer it to him.
Yeah.
He looked at the title and he said, "It's so ridiculous." And then he didn't open it and give it to an assistant, and it was true. It was a ridiculous title, I think.
Maybe I want to talk, before we go to questions, I want to talk briefly about your drawing practice, predating maybe your design career. I read you've been drawing since you were a little boy. Yes? What place does it have in your life, I guess?
Yes, you never know why you like that, but I some of my first memory was the fact that I was drawing, and I like that so much. It's part of my life.
Some of them are here.
And it has always been a practice for me. It's a very free practice. It's the opposite of the other one, where it's full of when I design a chair or try to organize a museum, or it's a question of fact. It's of course a bit of poetry, but it's a lot of factors that you need to understand, that you need to intelligently manage to deal with. You have to work with engineers, you have to sometimes to work with your brother, so it's difficult. And drawing is something that you can just do it for yourself, and yeah, there is no, in my case there is no goal. It's not. I do not want to do. I like the practice of drawing. I'm happy that there is a drawing at the end, but what I like especially is like it's to draw, the fact of putting a line and another line, or I like that, and it's for me it's like walking after a long day of work. You just decide to go to walk in a forest or in a street, and drawing for me is like that. It's a way to forget. I'm not concentrate on my drawing exactly. It's more like when you walk from a point to another, a path that you do frequently. Yeah. Very often you arrive at the end and you do not remember what happened during this because you were thinking of so many. And I draw like that. I think the most interesting drawing is that when I do not remember how exactly it happens, because it means that I'm free of. It's almost like dancing, or it's. My poor English is terrible.
No. There's a wonderful book titled, is it The Sound of My Left Hand?
That is a nice title, but it was not
it's
mine.
It's not catalogue raisonné.
Because I do not understand it, and everybody asks me, but what is the title? The sound of my left hand.
Are you left-handed, actually?
I'm still thinking about this title, but I like the sound of this title, because
are you left-handed
I think musically it's so nice, the sound of and it's a bit surrealistic.
Yes.
It's
Which
yeah.
maybe is present. Would you agree in some of your works?
I
This
hope.
idea.
Yes, I hope. Yes.
I think this l'oiseau is a little surrealistic.
Maybe.
Maybe. Do you make a point to separate your design practice with because you are exhibited in galleries as well as an artist. Is that a distinction that's necessary to you, or is it important? No.
I don't like perimeter, and I think we are in a period when a designer need to be a designer, graphic designer need to be a graphic designer. For me, it's a nonsense. So, if you consider Le Corbusier was painting every morning in his studio, in his house, and then was dealing with different with different buildings and his marvelous assistant. Alto was the same. He was a marvelous architect, marvelous urbanist, but he was one of the best do-handle designer. And I like that. So I like to. So during a lot of years, I didn't want to show my drawing because I say I'm a designer, so it's a very serious discipline. So I cannot show my drawings that I do in my kitchen. But I think I understand how it's a part of all things. But I don't say that designer need to draw. I don't say that a drawer need to design chair. But I like to do that, and I don't know to do a lot of things in my life. I draw, but I was very often taking as an example in a drawing lessons that as a when the professor arrived, look at your drawing and take it and explain to all the others that it's not a good way to. Obviously, he was right, because basically when you try to represent something, you start with the first line to try to build the composition or to. I do not draw like that when I'm in front of something. I start very precisely to design your shoes, for example, and then I will go on which is not the European Occidental way to draw. A bit more in Asia, they work like that. So, but and so methodologically, I was not the good one to.
Let me see. Do you find there's a bridge, and necessarily as some galleries describe you as an artist, do you necessarily have to bridge? I wonder what the bridge is like. How do you compare the art world and the design world? Is it the same? You don't care? Funny? I don't know. I tell you a story while you think. I met Ines Barda shortly before she passed away. It was in New York, and she says, "Hello, I am a new artist, born again." Forget about Ines as a filmmaker. Basically, this was, she says, "I am a potato." This is her great metaphor. Yeah. And this is her sense of renewal. Basically, tabula rasa, know me as a new artist and forget about my films. But what you're saying is sort of, for you it's a flow, is that right? There's no separation.
I feel to be in this car when there is a bit of rain that is doing aquaplaning. I'm working like that, so I'm very well surrounded by good assistants. So there is 4 design assistants around me. Amy, which is more dedicated to textile and carpet. I have different assistants that I feel very. So I design my project, but I like to develop them with them, and yes, we are organized as a. So because people maybe do not understand how it's possible to do so many projects in the same time, but so I basically think about. idea, draw them quite precisely. I'm well surrounded by people that I can send by SMS to Hiro, a Japanese assistant, which is a master of modeling, so he physically modeling things. So I know that if I send it in the morning, at the end of the day, we'll come back full of dust and with a model of a chair. Paul, which is here, is so skilled about understanding my sketches and to translate them in 3D modeling. Yes, so it's organized like that. So this is the first, and then there is a manufacturers that are full of. Here there is some Spanish manufacturer, Cappellini. Antonio, for example, is one of the best engineers that I never met. The list is big of the company I had worked with, but he has the ability to develop in a so fast way, in a so precise way, and to develop technically. We are quite advanced when we send projects. I care so much about detail, about millimeters, that I know exactly what I want, but then you need to work with engineers that are the one who will translate this idea in a manufacturing process. And so when I consider the number of people working around my project or ideas, there is hundreds of them, because in Vitra there are 10 people working on development of things, same in flows. So the studio is just the starting point and the return point of the idea. But so it's important to say that, because I'm not alone. Alone, I will be totally homeless probably, because I'm not very organized.
Maybe this is a good moment to turn to your questions. Any questions? For Ronan. And the shy ones, please pass me your notes. I shall read them. I think we have one here. Okay. Here, David.
Hello, how are you? So I was wondering, do you remember the first time you realized you had the ability to create? And can you share us your first encounter with design?
Yes, exactly. I was in this school when I was 15 or 16, and I had to do a chair, and the starting point of the chair was a Rietveld chair. I don't know if you know this Dutch designer from starting to work in the 20s and designed chairs with a program of chair with just plank, and that was the way to start. So the teacher asked us to think about how to do a chair in plank. My chair was terrible, so it was a starting point.
Ronan, unfortunately, I've been told that we've run out of time. We just have one more we have time for one
It's
more
terrible.
question.
I like public questions, but
And maybe there are no more. I'm just going to ask you one question, and I hope you will answer me in one word or like a few words. If you could go back to school and maybe, I don't know, join...
I'm in school every day. Huh?
You're in school every day. If you can join, I don't know, one of the programs in Elisava, what would you be curious about?
I feel so... I heard that there is 30 different,
30 different programs.
master in Elisava. Yes. I would like to test all of them.
Yes.
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Yeah. I have so much to learn.
Fine. Bien. Okay, a round of applause for Ronan. Thank you so much.